Welcome to Let's Talk Bayfront, a monthly lunchtime chat about different aspects of the Bayfront Parkway Central Corridor Improvement Project planned for the City of Erie. I'm your host, Jill Harry, the Press Officer and Community Relations Coordinator for the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation's Northwest Region. The Bayfront Parkway Central Corridor Improvement Project. It's a big plan with lots of components. So we're going to break it down into smaller pieces and invite some experts to help us dive deeper into each topic. We want to hear from the public along the way, so those joining us live can submit questions through the Q&A box. For those listening later on, you can reach us via email at bayfrontparkwayproject@pa.gov. As time allows, we will get to as many of those questions as we can based on the day's topic. Joining us in the live sessions will give listeners the option to turn on captions in a variety of languages. Just click on the three dots on the toolbar at the top of your screen and choose the language that is best for you. This session was pre-recorded as an introduction to the series, which will be posted online monthly at PennDOT's website, www.penndot.gov/district1. There you will find links to the future live episodes as well as recordings of the sessions after they are held. Our upcoming Bayfront conversations will cover a variety of topics, including a November session on the recently completed public involvement survey. In December, we will talk about the work on the bridge near the Soldiers and Sailors home in Erie. And in January, the conversation will be about the bike and pedestrian aspects of the project. We plan to hold our chats starting at 12:05 p.m. on the third Tuesday of every month. So make sure to mark your calendars to tune in and submit your questions. Links to each session will be posted on penndot.gov/district1 and on the Bayfront Parkway Facebook group. For this pre-recorded session, we have invited PennDOT Project Manager Tom McClelland. He's going to discuss the overall project goals and how the plans were developed and kind of give us an introduction to what we plan to do there along the Bayfront to create that better connection between the city and the waterfront. So welcome, Tom.
Hey, thanks, Jill. Glad to be here.
Yes, I guess we'll just start where we should and just let me say that all again. Let's just start with giving you an opportunity to kind of introduce yourself to everybody, maybe a little bit about your career with PennDOT and then how you became the project manager for the Bayfront.
Okay, yeah, that sounds great. I've been at PennDOT for a little over 26 years now, working on a variety of different projects. My first couple years out of college, I started in construction, where I did construction inspection of roadway projects and bridge projects. And then after that stint, since I specialized in traffic engineering in college, I spent the next 15 years or so in our traffic unit, handling all sorts of programs related to signing, traffic signals, and engineering and traffic studies. The last 7 years, I've been in our design unit, mainly working with our project designs that are being performed by consultants, which includes, this Bayfront project as well. It's kind of funny and a convoluted process how I became the project manager of the Bayfront. Our original project manager was Mark Nicholson, who is now our bridge engineer. Mark took the project during the study phase, beginning in 2015 timeframe, up until he took the promotion to be our bridge engineer. And so he had the project the whole way through preliminary design phase into like fall of 2018, let's say. And I was Mark's supervisor at the time. And in normal process, when a project manager leaves a project, we assign it to somebody else. But with my knowledge of Erie and being a part of the study and knowing how important it was, there really aren't a lot of opportunities to manage a project like this in your career, something so transformative and unique. So I kind of kept the project for myself and trying to get it finished here, in 2022.
So you bring to the project then a variety of experience then from different aspects, I guess, of PennDOT, not just coming in straight from design, but also construction, maintenance, and those other, sides of the business, I guess.
Yeah, and I felt that was another important thing too, why I kept it. I did work part of my career. I spent 9 months in maintenance as an assistant in the county. Taking care of roadways and bridges and being on call during the winter months. And so, with a project this big, you have to worry about managing stormwater, managing traffic. So have wearing those hats in my career, but also involving the people that are doing those items right now is very important. So I have a lot of connections here in the department and also out in the public too with the agencies and working with the community.
How lucky for the Bayfront. So the Bayfront Parkway is a pretty popular road up in Erie. And as you said, that this project is large and transformative. So how did PennDOT come about determining that such a large scale project was needed there?
Well, we probably started hearing from the locals, after some development happened. I mean, the Bayfront, it has kind of transformed from the industrial corridor when the GAF shingle plant used to be there, and there wasn't a lot there. But once the original road was built in the late 80s, early 90s, the library was located down there, and then all of a sudden a lot of different things popped up. The intermodal center, what was the some of the museum. So there's a lot of different things that popped up there, and that really generated a lot of traffic and things for visitors and the uniqueness. So, trying to take care of what's going to happen in the future, getting that crystal ball out and really looking at what could happen there. Uh, you know, that's probably what kind of emphasized PennDOT's need to get in the project. Obviously the congestion that happens on a daily basis at State Street, traffic backing up from that light uh, at times too. So that, those are some things that, the Parkway did great for 20 to 30 years, but it's time for an upgrade, and it's time to make it more of a parkway, a park-like setting as well too. And again, as you mentioned earlier too, connecting the city grid to the water, that's the great resource that's shared up there.
I know PennDOT's done a lot of public involvement throughout this time when Mark was in charge of the project and now you. And one of the things that people have talked about was that need for the stronger pedestrian bicycle connections. So how does this project address those needs that people have voiced about, wanting to be able to more easily cross the Bayfront and get to those things that you mentioned, like the library and those other areas?
Yeah, that was the eye-opening thing for me once we went out, did our first public involvement, even during the study phase, 2015, 2016. People coming up to us and talking about where they bike, where they walk. And at our first public meeting, it was an all-day kind of open house where people could pop in and share with us. We did two of those, and both of them we had a table set up where people told you where they walked and biked. And that's again where it just became a more apparent to me. This is more than just moving cars. This is about livable communities. It's about biking. It's about pedestrians. And that was, again, like I said, that was the most eye-opening thing. And I know with our project design currently right now, we have a new shared use path on the north side of the Bayfront. They'll be connecting things. The pedestrian bridge at Holland, another great thing that probably came about from the public involvement as well. So we always say to come to public meetings and give us your opinion. So that's definitely why we're out doing this, and we're even doing these podcasts too.
So we have the bridges for the pedestrians and the bike paths there along the closest to the waterfront for the bicyclists. But what about the motorized traffic? I mean, clearly this parkway attracts a lot of drivers because there's so many things to access along there. So, what does the project have to create a better situation for them? I know you mentioned the State Street and the backups that you'll see there, but that's not the only efficiency issues along that portion of the parkway, correct?
Yeah, we have some roundabouts planned as if people that have been following the project know at Holland and Sassafras Streets, and it makes those intersections more efficient. You know, if you're local to Erie and if you sat at the convention center traffic light that just didn't seem to turn green after an event or had to wait in a long file, long line, that you'll know exactly what I'm talking about there. And, those roundabouts, they do move traffic, but they're also safe for pedestrians too. The pedestrian only crosses one leg at a time. They only has to look one direction to cross safely. And we're going to have flashing warning signs indicating that. And also we'll have raised crosswalks there too, which if you're unfamiliar with the raised crosswalk, just similar to over in front of Sarah's as you go into Presque Isle State Park in the summer, kind of like a raised crosswalk there. So those are some things we're doing there. The grade separation at State Street, that's another win-win for vehicles and pedestrians. Pedestrians up top, they only have to cross a couple lanes of traffic. So right now, if you're at State Street, you want to cross the Bayfront, you're walking across 4 to 5 lanes, and it's about 80 feet of pavement you're crossing. We're cutting that back down to about 30 feet. So, you can walk a lot quicker, with the that 50-foot difference of pavement, makes it much safer. And all the through traffic of the Bayfront during our studies, we recognize that 80% of the traffic is through traffic and doesn't want to use State Street. So that's where we came up with the idea of the grade separation and keeping that through traffic down below where the CSX railroad bed is now, and having people use the ramps that want to use State Street to still provide that access there. So that traffic light that's planned for there will be more efficient because you only have to worry about the ramp traffic, which is 20% of what was down below. So it's a win-win for both pedestrians and vehicles.
So 2 roundabouts, a grade separated intersection. Like, I know when we look at the plans, sometimes it looks so, for the public, maybe so big and almost hard to wrap your brain around because it's going to be maybe a big change down there to that roadway. So what's the experience going to be like, once all of these changes are made? What do you think people will really, I'm trying to figure out how to ask this question the best way I can, but yeah, how is it going to change the experience of traveling along the parkway, whether you're a pedestrian, a cyclist, or a motorist?
Yeah, I see it as really exciting. I mean, visually, it should be something special with all the extra landscaping and greenery we're adding. And, it only will get more beautiful as the years go by. Nothing can take away the vista of the lake and the water. To me, that's the iconic connection. We hear a lot about iconic connections with this project, but the iconic connection's always been there, and it's staring everybody in the face, or at least, in my opinion, that it's the Great Lake, it's Erie, it's the Bay. So we want to pay homage to that, and we're going to keep that vista as best we can through there. The pedestrian bridge at Holland, another unique design that's going to pay homage to the nautical theme in the area. So, we want to complement everything that's there and not take away from anything. And, the green space, the aesthetics, we've worked with the city on the maintenance agreements, because in the past on the east side of the Bayfront, we didn't really have a maintenance agreement, and we know what happened out there as far as taking care of some of the items that are outside kind of the roadway's purview. So we'll make sure we have those good maintenance agreements to keep up with things, and trying to make good choices on the plantings too. Follow what the city desires, but also things that are good for the temperate zone, and also tolerant species to the environment that we live in, unfortunately, with salt in the winter and things of that nature. So again, we wanted the parkway to continue to thrive and become more green, make it more a parkway, lower the speeds and make it a place for visitors and the residents alike, to some, enjoyment of the great resources that we have.
So it will be a slower experience, a safer experience, and a more visually appealing experience. Do you think that sums it up?
Absolutely. That's what we're trying to achieve here, and I think we're well on our way to doing that.
So let's talk timeline then. So when
Sure.
do we expect the work to start? And, what will be those first few phases or, lead up work to this project? And it sounds big, so I couldn't imagine we'd be able to do it all in 1 year.
Yeah, and actually, if you're out there right now, you'll see some work going on over by the Soldiers and Sailors Home, and that's kind of like a early plan that we're doing in order to get the property from CSX and the grade separation at State Street. We're kind of moving the rail operations of CSX to the east. So we're putting in a bridge right now. It's the abutments are up, and I think as far as schedule, they're hoping to set some beams here before winter shutdown. So that project's well on its way. But as far as our central Bayfront project, we're really hoping to break ground next fall in 2022. And because of the construction, we can't have it all under construction at one point. So, we got to do it in parts and pieces, to keep traffic flowing and access to the businesses, which we're going to keep them up at all times. You'll have access. So the work will take place in 2023 and 2024. Initially, we're going to start at Sassafras with that roundabout, the westernmost part of the project, excuse me. And, we also have a project on 12th Street right now in construction where we're either retiming or replacing the 22 signalized intersections between I-79 and where the Bayfront connector comes back up on the east side. So, there's a lot of extra capacity out there with all the lanes, retiming the lights. So we're going to make that the east-west corridor, to help out with congestion down at the Bayfront. But, we're going to keep the Bayfront open as much as we can. And obviously encourage people to use the 12th Street corridor as well as a good east-west route.
So we got the bridge at Soldiers and Sailors. We got the lights along 12th Street, and then the 3 intersections on the Bayfront, and all of the other things that go along with that, like the missing links of the pathways and all of the pedestrian needs. It sounds like a gigantic juggling act for a project manager.
It is at times, and the other thing is utilities, the things you don't see that kind of need moved and relocated. On every project, there's right of way that needs purchased and utilities. So those are a couple big items that people don't see, but they're so important and so critical on a project.
So you're trying to keep track of all this information. I'm sure that sometimes the public feels overwhelmed trying to do it on their level as well. So how do people try to, really get a better handle on the project, or just kind of stay informed about where things are and how the project is moving along?
Yeah, I think the main takeaway I would say is to stay involved, and probably the best way to do that is going to our project website, which is www.bayfrontparkwayproject.com. It has all the latest news there, and probably including these podcasts and project info. All of our renderings are 3D simulations where you can be a pedestrian walking along State Street toward the Bicentennial Tower or on that new path that we're creating. There's also, people have posed questions and there's answers to that. And we also have a frequently asked questions section as well. So, there's a lot of good info out there. All of our meeting minutes from our public involvement are staged there. So there's a lot of information on that webpage. So that's probably where you want to be. And also, you get the latest of if we're coming out and doing any meetings or any outreach from there too.
So lack of access to information is not an issue here with this project.
Yeah, I don't believe so.
Yeah. And I'll say, I've been involved in this project on a lower level here, just the public involvement aspect here for the past few years, and looking at all those pictures and the renderings and, on the website, and presented at the meetings and stuff. It's been really exciting to watch it kind of take shape from that open house that you talked about at the beginning, where we were just asking people, tell us where you want to cross or where you do cross, to now seeing those areas being identified and the need being addressed, and not just in theory, but actually like, here's what the bridge is likely to look like, and here's where the path is likely to run. Like it's pretty exciting, I'm sure, for the community to think about this finally moving into the construction phase and how it's going to really transform things along the waterfront. I'm sure that you guys in design are even a higher level of excited than that.
Absolutely. It's been a great project to work on, and I can't take any credit myself. There's a whole team behind me that's moving a lot of these parts and pieces that we mentioned. So it's exciting, and can't wait to see it and walk on the path someday and take even my family up and do that. So those are things I'm looking forward to.
Well, thank you, Tom, for taking some time to talk with us today and to pass on all this great information. Again, if you're listening to this and maybe you're hearing about the project for the first time, or you're just curious about some updates on the project that you've been following along for several years now, that website is bayfrontparkwayproject.com. So go there and find all that great stuff that Tom was talking about. Also, thank you for joining us for this introduction to the Let's Talk Bayfront series. Make sure that you share, the link with your friends. Let's try to all work together here to keep each other informed as this big project moves into the most important phase of all, which is construction. So all of the links to the upcoming episodes will be on PennDOT.gov/District 1. So our first live session is scheduled for November 16th, and that's when Tom will be joining us again to talk a little bit about the public involvement survey that we did here this past fall, and what we gathered from that and how we use that information moving forward. From there, we'll have a new episode the third Tuesday of every month at 12:05 p.m. So you can join us during your lunchtime break and listen live, or you can just go to the website afterward and listen to the sessions that have been recorded. Make sure to check out the Bayfront Parkway Project Facebook group. That's where you're going to find links as well, but also other information related to the project from now through construction being complete here in a few years. So thank you again, Tom. Thank you also to Hannah, who's working as our producer for this program, and everyone have a great day.